To return to our discussion about the introductions for literary analyses essays, we've already talked about the hook and the background information. The last step is to include our thesis statement. When we're talking about a literary analysis essay, the thesis statement is going to address what the theme is, but also it's going to talk about how the theme is created. So, a couple of examples here might be using character development, setting, and metaphor. Raymond Carver suggests that love can sometimes create frustration and pain. Notice here we've listed the three narrative elements that are going to be discussed in the essay. Character development will be one, setting will be another, metaphor will be a third. And the theme that we're going to make an argument about the text expressing is that love can sometimes create frustration and pain. Alternatively, using character development, setting, and metaphor, Raymond Carver suggests that often love is experienced in stages. In the case of the second example of a thesis statement, we're still talking about the same elements of fiction, character development, setting, and metaphor, but this time we're making an argument that the theme of the text is that love is experienced in stages. Very similar thesis statement. We're just emphasizing slightly different interpretations of what the theme is. You might also choose to take this in a very different direction. Here's an example. Primarily written from from the male character's point of view, the narrative suggests that heterosexual couples often misunderstand one another. So, taking a different approach to a theme, you might think about how the narrative is commenting on social structures. In this case, the way in which cisgendered men and women interact with one another. So let's just take a look at what these introductions might look like as a whole, so we can have those examples for us as we write. So in total, love is a complex emotion that sometimes changes over time. In the short story, what we talk about when we talk about love, author Raymond Carver describes a social interaction between two couples who seem to have very different attitudes towards love. Using character development, setting, and metaphor, Raymond Carver suggests that often love is experienced in stages. And so in this model, we have all three parts. We have our hook, which is our first sentence. We have our background information, which is in red, and we have our thesis statement, which is bolded. A final example would be this one. Everyone experiences love differently. In the short story, what we talk about when we talk about love, author Raymond Carver describes a social interaction between two couples who seem to have very different attitudes toward love. Mel, a cardiologist, loves his second wife, Terry. However, he also seems bitter toward the very idea of love. Nick, Mel's good friend, loves his wife, Laura, but their love is somewhat superficial. Primarily written from a male character's point of view, the narrative suggests that heterosexual couples often misunderstand one another. Right? And then the rest of the text would make an argument that the short story, what we talk about when we talk about love, is trying to highlight the way in which cisgendered men and women often misunderstand one another.